Landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and how you doing? I hope you're doing good. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. But do me a favor and hit that like button or the terrace win. And this week we're going to carry Spyderco. Let's get into it. Gimme. Time. That was fast. And they even gave us a snack. Okay. So we've got here a Spyderco Manix 2. Now let's take a look at what we're holding because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I'm too kind to you. So first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carrier. We've got these aftermarket scales, which I believe are aluminum. Pocket clip is reversible. We got a thumb hole. Let's flick the hole. And we got a hair over 3 inches of Maximet steel. And it's on the ball bearing lock that I'm still getting used to. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I did the unboxing on this, and I did the unboxing on time, the Manix 2 in 15V. And so these were a gift from a friend. I believe he'd like to remain anonymous, so we're going to keep it that way. But we got these, we unboxed them, I was suitably impressed, and these were gotten so I could suffer. These were gotten so I could suffer through the Cardboard Slayer experience doing edge retention testing on these, but you guys know we got to carry these before we do any testing on them, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I've been looking forward to this for a while. You know, I've carried one nice Spyderco before this one. I had the Sage 5 in Rex 121, and that had this kind of scales on it, and this is the reason I didn't carry this one. We've already carried one that's got these scales on it. And I didn't really feel like having it hang up and drag in the pocket going this way and then hang up and drag a little bit coming out this way. That's the one shortcoming with these lightweight scales. And these are Manix 2 lightweights. Manix 2 lightweights. I forgot to add the lightweight. But, you know, that's the one disadvantage to these scales. Like, I don't mind them. There's plenty of grip on them, plenty of traction without it being too overbearing. But going into the pocket and pulling it back out can be a little bit of a headache. So, you know, I went ahead and went with this one. One, it's the nicer of the two, and two, it's got the aftermarket scales on it that are a lot smoother and nicer in the hand, and they're going to be nicer going into and out of the pocket. So we got that. Golden, Colorado, USA Earth. I never actually stopped to read these things. Yep. And then we got this logo right here, the Triple B. Cool. But, yeah, I mean, I have been looking forward to it, and I can't wait to really put some time on this thing and do some cutting with it. Let's take a look at this edge. Let's see how she's doing. That's a really nice cut, guys. That's a really, really nice cut. And, of course, we're not going to carry this one because we're already carrying a Manix 2. And like I said, we're already carrying a Manix 2 and we've already carried a Spyderco on these scales. But we already got it sitting out here, so let's check it out. God, that's nice. I love a really good slicey profile. And that definitely scratches that itch. I'm going to wipe the paper dust off this edge because somehow it seems to make a little bit of a difference whenever we're doing the electronic edge sharpness tester that you guys kindly provided through your super chat donations, your channel memberships, and what have you. Thank you for the support. That was a smooth segue. Now, the way this works, if you haven't seen one of these before by some odd miracle, is it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through the wire on this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. So let's take a look at where this one's sitting. All right. Weird. So that's not a 306. That's not a 306. This is part of why we generally do multiple tests, especially if something like that is that egregious of a difference. Like, that is definitely not a 306 on that cut. $161. Okay. That is in line with the last 2 or 3 takes that I've done on this because I wasn't happy with the vibe of the video, but we're rolling with it. We have gotten about 160 on every single one except for that one weird outlier. Sometimes those test clips aren't properly calibrated, which again, that's why when they're that out of line, we definitely test. We've probably pulled 6 different tests off of this one. Might as well take a look at the other one because it'll bother you if I don't, and you know I love you. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other one too. But yeah, that thing's had probably about 6 different tests done on it, and that 160 is not a bad number. I like seeing them a little bit lower than that, but 150 to 175 has been the range of a lot of good factory edges we've gotten for the longest time now. So I'm not mad at it. I believe this is the one with the better numbers. Let's go ahead and wipe the edge off on this. Yeah, 148. So I believe the last time we had these out, this tested somewhere in the 130s to 140s, but the 148 is still a good number. As you move back and forth a little bit, you'll see the numbers float around some. You know, I know a lot of you guys know that, but we got some new faces here. But as you move back and forth along the edge, the numbers will float around a little bit just because you're testing an area as wide as that wire is thick. So things will change as you move around a little bit. But yeah, I've been looking forward to carrying this for a while now, and I am so happy we get to do this finally. I am going to enjoy my week with this thing, my God. And and here's the thing. Here's the thing that drives me up the wall. All right, this thing to knife guys, to guys that are into the weeds with this thing, it's really impressive. Having that piece of Maximet right there is impressive. That is a hell yeah right there. Showing this to non-knife guys, or the kind of guys that are impressed by gas station knives, or that will buy a bug out off of the TikTok shop, they're not going to be impressed by this in the least. The word Maximet there is not going to mean a thing to them. So I'm going to enjoy carrying it. I'm not going to get to enjoy showing it off that much because I don't work around guys that are super into knives, except for maybe one guy. Maybe one guy at work will actually be impressed by the Maximet on it. We'll have to see. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to, one, getting used to the ball bearing lock. The ball bearing lock on this, I had mentioned it the last time I did a video on this. It's like an axis lock, however, we have got a very, very short throw on it. The spring on it's really strong, and it's a really short throw. And I believe we are on washers, if I remember right, so that's part of why we're getting a little bit of resistance on closing it. You know, it's not going to close as fast, and it's not a drop shut knife. So you combine that drop shut with a lock I'm not used to yet, then I got to learn how to use it and get used to it, because an axis lock is a much longer pull. It's a much longer pull, and the springs are a bit softer. So, like, I'm not mad at it at all. You know, it's still a one-hand close. It's just, it takes a little bit more force and a little bit different muscle memory. So, for the week here, I'm looking at a very, very nice carry experience with this thing. And a lot of that boils down to, you've got a nice, reasonably thin piece of blade stock with a flat grind all the way to the top. You got a nice edge on it. You got a really high fidget factor with it. And the scales are nice and chamfered. Ooh, there's that $5 word. But the scales are nice and chamfered, and it's going to be easy getting it into and back out of the pocket. It shouldn't be really uncomfortable going into the pocket and getting stuff out around it. We should have a good week, and we'll see if my electronic cigarette deposits a whole bunch of the coating that's on the cigarette, or on the mod, to the outside of this knife, and I'll have to wipe it off. That is the bane of my existence. However, I've got limited pocket space, so everything's got to go in that one pocket. But, yeah, I can't think of a lot else to add that I haven't already thrown out there. So, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so, so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. Let's say thanks to our anonymous friend for sending this to me. I really, really appreciate it. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have something this cool, or anything else. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.